Well, hey, what's up, YouTube? Pastor Matt here. Hey, listen, just the other day, I did a review of this amazing resource by Hendrickson Publications, The Complete Hebrew-Greek Bible, which I told you is probably now the best Greek-Hebrew Bible on the market. Well, that probably inspired just a little bit of guilt in some of you, and that's okay. And the guilty feeling is that you have not kept up with your Greek and Hebrew that you studied so diligently when you were in Bible college and seminary, and you feel like, man, I wish I could get back into it. Ugh, you worked so hard on all of those paradigms and all of those verb tenses and your vocabulary. How are you ever going to get back to it? Well, today I want to do a follow-up with another new product, again by Hendrickson Publications. And this is an incredible work called Keep Up Your Biblical Hebrew in 2 minutes a day, 365 selections for easy review. Now, you may say that sounds too good to be true. 2 minutes a day. What can you do in 2 minutes a day? Well, I do think that there is something good happening here. And by the way, it's not just this one particular item. This is volume 1 of a 2-volume series in the Hebrew, but there are also books in the Greek, 2 of those, and 1 in Aramaic, if you studied those languages. So let's have a look, a quick overview at this resource and see what's so great about it. I do think it is great. And let's start with the external physical attributes of the book before we work to the internals of the book and how it actually works as a study guide. First of all, I was extremely delighted to notice that this is actually a leather-bound book. I thought it was going to be just a regular hardback, but when I take a look at the binding here, I notice that this is in fact leather. I'm guessing it's a calf split perhaps, or maybe even a genuine leather. It looks better than genuine leather though. And even more to my delight is that this book has a sewn binding. And if you're not sure if a book has a sewn or glued binding, I'll pop a link up here in the top right corner for you to note that. Anyway, sewn bindings last forever and ever, and glued bindings break apart and fall in chunks, which is why some of your books and Bibles are falling apart. Okay, well, enough of that. It's very elegantly bound. It does come with 2 ribbons. Let's get to the innards of the book and how it works and whether or not you can actually use it in 2 minutes a day, and I submit that you can. So you have 365 one-page reviews of some grammar, or actually more in terms of vocabulary. What you get here is one sentence in the English Bible of various translations. Sometimes they use the King James or the ESV or other popular translations. So in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And here is our key word for today, and it is the word va, which means and or but in the Hebrew. And over here you can see that this word is used some 50,000 times. And actually what happens throughout the book is he starts with the most common words in the Hebrew text and goes on backwards in descending order of usage. So the next most common word on day 2 is ha, which means the, used some 24,000 times, and so on and so forth, until you get through all of the vocabulary of the Hebrew Bible that is used more than 120 times throughout. Okay? Now what we get here is the Hebrew verse in its unadulterated form. Just there it is. All the vowel markers are there. And if you're current enough, you just go ahead and read your verse right there. And then, for some extra help in the translation, what the author does is he begins to break down the verse line by line. In the beginning, Bereshit, God, Elohim, created, bara, the heavens, et hashamim, and the earth, va'et ha'eretz. And there is your sentence for the day. Now, one thing that's not present on the first day is that every other day, subsequently, is going to have some review words. So if I go to day 2, I'm going to review the vocabulary from day 1. And since I only have 1 vocabulary word so far, that's all I got. For the rest of the book, every day you're going to get a new word and 2 review words from a previous section. Okay? And so literally you can keep up your Hebrew with, especially in terms of vocabulary and translating basic sentences, a few words at a time. You can keep it up. Now, this does assume that you have some sort of facility with the Hebrew language already before you approach this. Primarily, this is written for those who went through seminary or Bible college and did do some work in the Hebrew. I suppose there could be a sense in which you could use this as kind of a starter, but it certainly does not explain all the rules or the tenses or the paradigms that you would have memorized if you actually took Hebrew as a course at some point in your life. Okay, well, I intend to use this. I'm actually studying Hebrew right now with a scholar one-on-one, and in fact, we have a Hebrew lesson in about 15 minutes. We're going over adjectives today. But once we complete our course in Hebrew, he and I do plan to use this to keep up. And the Greek one, which is similar to this, I do plan to use to keep up my Greek. Spent a couple years doing that. Why not keep it up? Okay, so what I'm going to do for you, if you are interested in this book, this resource, is I'm going to put a link to this right over to the Amazon page so you can hop over and buy this exact book. It'll be there. Just look in the description of this video. You can get the link. Also, don't forget, you can follow me on Twitter, Matt_Everhard. And if you want to hear some good, old-fashioned, Bible-believing, Reformed preaching, up here in the corner is the sermon page of Faith Evangelical Presbyterian Church, where I preach the good news of the gospel of Jesus Christ. Okay, well, love you lots. Hope you learned something today. Hope I found a resource for you that may be helpful. Check you later.